Okay, standing up, you're going to just put your hands together, and then you're going to bring your hands down. Okay, and just imagine you're taking energy from down from the Mother Earth. Just imagine it like that. And as you're raising it up, just lift your hands up, give it into your heart, raise your hands up, and you're connecting to the universe, to the masters. Allow that energy to flow through you. Again, come down, and again, lift the energy from Mother Earth. Lift your legs up, raise yourself, give it into your heart, go up into the universe, connecting to the creator, connecting to all the masters, receiving all the energy blessings, and again coming back into Mother Earth, again lifting the energy up, taking into your heart, taking it up, connecting to the universe, to the masters, allowing their blessings to come through, receiving it with gratitude, grounding to Mother Earth again. Allow yourself to raise up into your heart, take it all the way up. It's a slow movement. This relaxes you. So as you're going down, breathe out. As you're going up, breathe in. Take your hands up. Again, breathe out. Connecting to earth. And just center into your heart. And let us invoke the blessings of all the masters, the blessings of all the spirit guides, creator of all that is, our family members, our friends, and let us all be guided with centeredness, with full awareness. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, now you can sit down and do another process. Oh Lord. So you can sit down, make yourself comfortable. The exercise what we did just now is just to align you to Mother Earth and also to allow you to connect to the universe. Okay, it's just balancing your yin and yang. So if you are ready, I want you all to sit, or if you are lying down, just lie. But I prefer you all to sit for those who can sit. Sit with your backbone straight. If you are lying down, keep your backbone straight. Keep your legs apart if you're lying down. And if you're sitting, allow yourself to be straight, aligned with your neck and your head, as though something is pulling you upwards. Make your body as straight as possible. Make all the adjustments you want to make your posture right. And gently allow yourself to close your beautiful eyes. Give yourself this moment. Observe the energy or the atmosphere around you. Observe any smell around you. Observe the environment. Is it hot? Is it cold? Is it windy? Give yourself time And bring your observation to yourself. Scan down through your body from your top of your head, observing all the feelings within you, knowing that you're the creator of these feelings and you're not the victim. Allow yourself to scan your body from your head, your neck, shoulders, chest, your rib cage, your hips, your legs, and observe any tension and allow it to be released as you observe them. Go down into your legs to your tip of your toes. Now scan all the way up from your legs. Now when you're scanning, scan little bit more deeper. Go into the ligaments, the joints, and let all the tension be released as you go up into the knees, into your hip, allowing your abdomen to be relaxed, your lower back, lumbar region. Are you feeling comfortable? Go through up your spine. Observe the shape of your spine. Come up through the shoulder blades, your heart space, your neck, to your head, and to the top of your head. The center of your head, the core center of your head, your crown space. Imagine if you're going to put a rod from there inside you, we are going to draw a line from within. So go inside from the top, behind your eyes, your nose, between your ears. Draw a line center of your throat, between your shoulders, down through your chest. Through your hips, out of the perineum, pass through your feet. It's a big straight line from your top of your head all the way down. Now take a moment to bring the physical balance within you. Observe the left side and the right side balanced well. Observe your shoulder blades. Is it balanced properly? Now, does that make you feel good, nice and balanced? Now use your center of your mind to help you to observe your breath. Watch how your breath enters and leaves your body. Observe the rhythm. We breathe in the yin energy and we breathe out the yang energy. Just keep observing your breath. Notice the relationship between your breath and your body. Notice when your breath enters you, Where and all it enters? Does it go into your diaphragm, into your abdomen? And relax and watch yourself as your breath goes deeper and deeper, calmer and calmer. With each breath, you're getting relaxed deeper and deeper. Ask yourself, could I relax my shoulders even more? Am I able to relax it even more? Are you noticing any kind of tension or pain in your body? Allow it to be relaxed and released. And this is you being the observer. Observing yourself, observing your flow of your energy being peaceful, light, and flowing. Find the stillness in your mind or in your heart. Step back from your normal life, be it good or bad, and just observe yourself. Whatever is going on in your life, be it good or bad, just know that this too will pass. You have all the skills, all the talents, all the intuition and balance to be authentic. Can you touch inside of you right now that awesome quality that makes you unique and special? You know that there is no one like you. In the whole of the universe, you are unique. You're awesome. Observe yourself. Do not accept any illusions, any lies that you are holding on to, like you're not enough, or you can't cope up, or you're unloved. These are all lies. Observe yourself taking full responsibility for your life. Observe yourself coping effortlessly with all the twists and turns in your life. Look within yourself for that security. You feel immensely safe and secure and supported within yourself. Breathe deeply and connect into this feeling. Remember, the love comes from deep within you. You are not needy anymore. You are whole and complete by yourself. You are part of the great oneness. The things that you can achieve from now on in your life is amazing. Never doubt that immense power within you, that intuition, that presence of the source energy. take a moment and observe all the wonderful decisions you have made in your life, be it good or bad. It has given you the experience and understanding. Let us be grateful to all of that situations. Know that you are not perfect. We are all here to learn. Take control of your mind and body. Observe yourself. Picture yourself. What would you look like being whole and complete, full of confidence, with the feeling of security, safety, and feeling of loved? You have everything you need inside you. Just observe what kind of energy you are radiating. The happiness, the bliss flowing, your truth, and that you're living with the highest of integrity. You're awesome, you're blessed, and you're complete. Just breathe this feeling into yourself, integrate it throughout your body, and bring your awareness into your body, scanning your body again. And allowing yourself to gently come back as I count from 5 to 1. Slowly bring back yourself. 5. Allowing yourself to gently move your hands and legs. 4. Bringing your hands together. 3. Rubbing your hands together. 2. Place it on your eyes, face, head, every part of your body. Allowing yourself to feel this blissful feeling, and gently open your eyes with 1. Hi to everyone who joined late. We started off without you all. So I'm again repeatedly saying, whoever has not done the first level, I want you to go back into the YouTube and just do that whenever you have free time. Okay. So today we'll start with something. What will we start with? Yay. Okay, if at all you want to talk, please unmute yourself and talk, okay? Because I've muted for the meditation. Okay, this was supposed to be discussed yesterday, but then yeah. Ego as a giver and ego as a receiver. Here, yesterday we spoke a lot about ego, so it is a continuation of that. So whenever we are in that giving space, sometimes we end up being very egoistic. I am the giver. I can give so much, and I decide when to give. And whenever, if at all somebody comes and asks, it happens with few of us like healers. Whenever they come to us for healing or something, you might simply sometimes say that I am the giver, I decide when I want to give the healing. Yes, you can decide according to your comfort, but it should not be from a ego space. When somebody is literally coming to you, of course you can say, whenever you are not in a good space, you can direct that person to somebody else. And ego as a receiver, that is the ego which I had. Because whenever I received from my parents, especially if they are giving me money or something, I used to feel so I keep telling them, so I was not able to receive it unconditionally. So I was seeing myself small. That is also an ego. When I was receiving it, rather than receiving it with unconditional love, which I am getting from my parents, of course it is out of love. um, that was my ego which I worked on. So I just wanted to share that. Okay. So today I think somebody spoke about the authentic self. Yeah, my mother itself in the beginning. So let's start with the authentic self. It's not easy to it's not easy to be authentic in a society we are living in, I understand, but that is where we are heading to for our evolving purpose. Each person comes in with a unique essence, like an energetic signature, and a unique purpose, and unique thoughts, and unique feelings, and unique desires, and unique needs. Unique role within the greater universe is embedded in that essence. Means every child who is born with something unique. They have their own personality, their own likes and dislikes, their own behaviors. But what do? We always train them and saying, no, you should be behaving in this way because the society demands it. So the first fear we actually give our own children. Okay. So we can only be authentic to the degree that we currently know ourselves. We can only be authentic to the degree that we are aware of ourselves, because so much of us is denied, rejected, disowned, and suppressed into the subconscious. So whenever a child, suppose very very small child, she or he comes, and if somebody has come home and you have served the person something to eat, and the child goes in and grabs all of that and they eat. So what do we tell the child? No, you're not supposed to do that. Immediately we say that, you're not supposed to do that. Then the child feels, okay, I shouldn't have the liberty to go and take something from my own house. So this is just a small example. Of course, we are being told many other things which we find it difficult to follow on a daily basis from a small time. So we keep on suppressing all those things inside us. Okay. So I have put some examples over here. When a person is working at a job they hate, this is inauthentic because their outer work does not match their inner passion for work. So know that if you are doing a work, something you don't feel passionate or which you don't like, you're not being authentic to yourself. When a person says they like someone or acts as if they do, when the truth is they hate them and want to be nowhere near them, this is inauthentic. Have you seen children? They are so innocent. If they hate somebody, they just show it. They don't like that person. And what do we tell the child? No, you're not supposed to tell that to auntie. You're not supposed to behave in such a way to that person. The first, you're teaching the child to be inauthentic. Of course the society demands some kind of behavior patterns, but this is what you are doing to your soul. When a person is denied how they feel because they have learned certain feelings are not acceptable, this is not authentic. Especially in India, especially boys or girls, especially boys, when they are crying, we tell them, you're a boy, you're not supposed to cry. So they start holding their feelings, they forget to cry, and they keep it inside. and they store that for years. It affects their system and even their emotional setup, even their relationship later on in their life, because they don't know how to express their true emotions. When we care so much about seeing ourselves as good that we cannot admit to aspects within us that wouldn't be seen as good, we are inauthentic. So, in order to make ourselves, the other person has to see me as good, we keep on projecting what we are not. We all do that, right? When we have two Facebook accounts, this is for the fun of it. One for the people we know from work and family, and one for the things we are actually interested in, then that would negatively judge us for we are inauthentic. These are just few examples I wrote just to observe yourself. Where are you? Just for self observation, I've written that. Okay, when we are going through a traumatic experience and we tell others we are fine, we are inauthentic. When we are happy and we find others are not happy in our happiness, we hide the happiness. We are inauthentic. A lot of people do this out of fear because they don't want to make the other person unhappy. So, what we have to do is, what will happen to you if you find the other person unhappy? How is it affecting you? That's where you have to work on. In an ideal world, we could all be transparent, honest, and authentic 24 hours a day. This is the world I want to create, but it is not the reality of the world we currently live in. So be willing to look bad to yourself and others, because we all have bad and good inside us. We are made up of the darkness and the light. We spend our whole lives trying to avoid shame. Shame is the number one enemy to the human ego. But this means that we are constantly avoiding anything that is real about us that could possibly make us look bad to ourselves or bad to others. So we are never actually be able to face what is real about us. So we only stop this when we are in so much of pain, and being inauthentic is not helping us, and we have to face the consequences. At that time only we actually come out of it. The heart of being authentic is being vulnerable. We are afraid of being rejected and unloved. We are not aware of our actual actions. We aren't aware of whether our inner world matches our outer world because we are inside ourselves. So when we say authenticity, this happens with along with my friends. Whenever we say that, okay, we should be authentic, then they become very brutally authentic. What is brutal honesty? Brutal honesty is when, authenticity in the form of brutal honesty is about someone else is often just an act of passive aggression, defense mechanism, a cover for emotional abuse. We are fooling ourselves that we love the honesty when in fact what we love is brutality. So sometimes we see something very bad in another person. You want to be authentic to that person, and what you're actually being is you're being very brutally honest and hitting that person, hitting in the sense with words, which actually is an aggressive pattern within ourselves. It's not being authentic. You are being very brutal to that person. We love ourselves being brutal. When people hurt our feelings or do things that cause us pain and then tells us that it's for our own good, we learn that this is the correct way to love when it is not. When we love people in this way, it is not love, it is abuse. It also reinforces the programming something is wrong with you or bad about you and you need to be fixed. So, what you have to do in this situation is you have to ask yourself, what is my genuine intention for telling them this? Is it for their good or my own good? If it is necessary to speak your mind, it is possible to do so without causing injury to another person. It is all about the delivery. There are people, who say that I'm very honest, and they end up saying very brutal things to others, which is actually hurting somebody else, which has a very, what kind of a mind that person who has, it's a revengeful way of dealing with it. When we tell someone something out of love and care for them, it has an entirely different expression than when we tell someone something for any other reason. Have you all understood what I said right now about authenticity and how uh, when we are being very honest, where you should be taking care? Does
Yes.
anybody have any input, or somebody didn't understand? All
I
of you
didn't understand.
didn't understand. What did you didn't
No.
understand?
The fact where, you tell them, like, you need to see if you should actually tell them or no.
Yeah, so
Like,
the thing is that when you're going to be honest with somebody, you have to ask yourself, what is the your intention behind it? Is it to help that person, or is it to, satisfy your ego? So if it is to help that person, it shouldn't be with the sword way of talking. You can talk it very compassionate way, isn't it? We can tell somebody something to change in a very compassionate. We do that in healings, right? We always show
yeah,
the person's negative side or the darkness, but we do it with so much of compassion. We literally hold their space. So that's what we have to look into. So okay, when we
Ma'am,
form,
can you please explain the slide number 41, the point, second point? I didn't understand it.
when people hurt our feelings or do things that cause us pain, then that tells us that it's for our own good. Yeah. So for example, your mother or father or whoever, we learned that this is the correct way to love. Yeah. So there are mothers or fathers who beat their children to discipline them, saying that I am doing this for your good. Do you feel it is for their good?
No.
Happens when you beat your child and train them, discipline them,
It
and
is
you
not so.
feel that hurtful way of training. So that's a way, you tell the mother tells the child that I am beating you because I love you. So the idea the child is getting is that this is the correct way of loving, and you tend to receive hurt or allow people to abuse you, thinking that abuse is love. This is the belief system for theta healers who can work on. Abuse is love is the belief system which will be formed inside you. Okay, so it always keeps ourselves with the program that something is wrong with us and it is to be fixed. Actually, nothing is wrong with us. It is just the way the parents think, in a way that what they think is right for you is the right way. It may not be the right way. You never know which is the right way, right? Only that child's soul knows which is good for that soul. Nobody else knows. Did you understand that, Manju? Anju.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I understand.
Where are we? Okay, when we form negative opinions or draw negative conclusions about someone and then consider these judgments as truths about them, we become hard energetically. We lose our capacity to see different perspectives. We are close minded and close hearted. So whenever we are in a judgmental space, this is what is actually you're doing with your own energy. You're becoming very hard inside, and we are closing your heart to that person. Instead of that, be very compassionate and understanding and see from that other person's perspective. Recognize when you're judging, and don't be attached to these judgments by believing them fully, because what you judge about another person may not be their highest truth. They are just your observations, so you don't have to be very attached to your observations. Okay, you understand, you judge that person, and you also have that, keep that thing inside your head that it may not be the highest truth. Judgments of other people are often projections from our subconscious mind that they really rarely reflect the truth. So what we perceive about something is what we think about another person. It's not their reality. So this is especially true if our projection takes in the form of I know what is best for you. Lot of parents or a lot of authoritative space people, they keep telling that I know what is best for you. There are healers who make this mistake and tell their clients that I know what is best for you. It is better you divorce. You have no right to take that decision and tell the person that it is their call. Okay. um, though we can have opinions, we do not know what is best for someone else. We only know what is best for ourselves. I believe you understood that. Allow yourself to deliver the message with empathy, compassion, and kindness. We can still be authentic and expressive of truth with words that has compassion. Why we discussed about authenticity so much is that when we ask people to be authentic, they become aggressive, and then they just brutally tell out their, the things which has to be shared with compassion. They share it with so much of hatred and things like that. That's why we discuss this a lot. So you have to get into the habit of objective viewing. This can be done easily in meditation, where you imagine stepping outside your body. We'll do that, okay? And watching yourself from bird's eye view. Watch as if you are literally a bird who has no attachment to the human who is watching. The human you is just a thing in the world that is observing. So when you're going to observe yourself like that, it is going to be really interesting, because you will find something which you have never been aware of about yourself. So literally anything you do that makes you more self-aware is a step in the direction of authenticity. So authenticity is the highest state of being that one can achieve. Even when I am giving this class and when you all are sharing your experiences, you all should understand that I actually look those things inside me to find and change or to understand myself. Why? Because we are all a part of each other, and every one of you can reflect me. So when I'm giving this class, I'm actually teaching myself awareness also. So you can also do that, on a daily basis. Each and every small things in your life, keep observing in a, in an objective space. So authenticity is the highest state of being that one can achieve. So now we'll shift from authenticity to shame. Okay. So the ego is our sense of ourself as a separate self. It is a sense of ourself as an I instead of as a we. The human ego needs to see itself as good. So, for example, when one of you is sharing your problem, if I am going to think that, okay, it is her thing, I don't have to bother about all that. I am in my ego space. I am not seeing the we there, because there is a possibility that there is a message in what you are saying to me also. Okay. The human ego's need to see itself as good is the biggest threat in relationship. In order to keep the social order, we socialize children. We punish them when they don't follow the social standards. Shame is that painful feeling state that results from comparing ourselves to our standards. So what we have to do is, what are the standards we have adopted from the society, which is creating this shame inside you? This is what you have to observe. If the number one need of the human ego is to see itself as good and have others see it as good, and shame is all about seeing oneself as bad and having other people see it as good, the number one enemy to the human ego is shame. We all do this on a daily basis, knowingly or unknowingly. They can destroy our lives and they can destroy our relationship. Ego will deal with shame by doing it into denial of it, changing its direction of it, rationalizing it, projecting it, suppressing it, splitting into alter egos, converting it into physical symptoms, overcompensating it, isolating themselves, or hurting themselves. You can observe each one word in this and see where is your ego lying there, because everyone has it, and once you observe that, it is easier to shift from there. When the ego goes into a state of self defense in the form of blaming, it is because it wants to avoid accepting, admitting to, and working directly with shame. So, whenever whenever you are blaming somebody else, know that you're doing it because you want to avoid something. Okay, diverting shame. People divert shame more than anything else. Something that happens or something that someone communicates causes someone to feel shame. Usually it triggers already present wounds of shame that are left over and unresolved from childhood. As a result of not being able to accept, admit, and deal it directly with that shame, they ignore it, deny it, or turn away from it, or turn it back towards the other person. So normally we have this saying in our house, in our friend circle also, that okay, okay, he's bringing that guilt paper on to put on you. Because our own things we tend to put it on another person, so that you feel that it'll go away from you. This type of deflection is also a projection. It is a projection of one's shame onto the other person, projecting one's own feeling of being bad into the other person, so it is them that is bad. So you don't want to see yourself as bad, so we keep that bad thing to the other person. But always what we have to observe is that most of the healers or people who are very observant do observe this, that whoever whom you are connecting to and you have a problem, and if you feel that you can see something bad in the other person, know that it is there inside you also. That's the reason you're even seeing it and you're blaming about it. So it will come as a mirror. Okay. Examples of shame. A mother can feel shame when her infant expresses negative emotions towards her. This is for all the mothers here, including me. It makes her feel like a bad mother. But her ego can't handle that, and so deflects that shame onto the infant. She decides the infant must have something seriously wrong with it. Okay, another one is a person asks for the honest truth from a friend in their life. A lot of people do this. The friend will come and say, "You tell me no, you tell me no, I can take it. I can take it. You tell me the truth." The honest truth makes them feel ashamed of themselves. They can't handle that shame. So they decide that friend is a horrible person. A wife cheats on her husband. She feels ashamed but can't deal with it. So she makes it his fault because he didn't pay enough attention to her, or she was not given love, or she was not given whatever she needs, or something like that. It's a space of shame, but she doesn't realize it because she's continuously blaming the husband. A celebrity doesn't respond to an email because they get thousands of it. The fan takes this personally. It makes them feel ashamed. I know a few people who have felt ashamed. That's why I wrote this. They can't handle it, so their ego avoids that shame by deciding the celebrity is bad and joining their hate group. This all happens in our society. A person who is arrogant because he believes that he is right even when he is proven to be wrong. Belief arrogance happen either because of excessive self-confidence or as a cover-up for lack of self-confidence. But this person deep down knows he is being arrogant, that creates shame within. You can observe all these examples. If it relates to any one of you, you can work on it. When we go indirectly for fulfilling our needs, we experience shame. If a person, for example, wants to explore sexuality, he misuses the freedom given in a relationship to experiment, he does feel shame. If a woman allows others to manipulate her, use her, control her, she feels shame as she is not staying in her power. Okay, so what normally we say is that the other person is controlling me and the other person is using me. Who is giving that power? You are giving that power. And when you are giving your power away, naturally it is shame for you, for your soul. So that is what you have to see, where that shame is coming from. If you see yourself as bad, you separate from yourself. And the same thing happens when you see someone else as bad. You separate yourself from that person also. The relationship ends emotionally and then it ends physically. Some people who feel shame, oh my God. Okay. Some people who feel shame often become highly narcissistic. Do not confuse narcissism with self love. It is anything but love. They become obsessively preoccupied with their own self interest and their own needs and wants. They go on a quest externally to find approval, superiority, admiration, and significance. So they want to keep themselves as so important that they don't understand what they are doing to others. The quest for attention is an attempt to fill the void of feeling worthless. So these people actually, deep down inside them, they do feel shame. You don't have to judge these people and discard them and keep them away, saying that oh, he's so narcissistic and or she's like this and things like that. Understand deep down this is what they are feeling. So it's like you're embracing everyone and everything in this world with a lot of compassion and love for them. Own your own shame. Whenever you feel defensive in any situation or start hearing the inner voice tell a story about how someone else is doing something bad, ask yourself, what do I feel ashamed of right here in this minute? What about the situation makes me feel a bad person or a defective or not good enough or wrong? So these are the questions you can ask yourself. Anybody has doubt in this, we can discuss it. Everybody has understood. If we want loving relationships with ourselves, we need to resolve the shame we feel. If we want loving relationship with other people, we need to help each other resolve the shame instead of adding to it. I believe you all understood what I've written here is by owning the shame we feel, we have an opportunity to do this instead of allowing our egos to be locked in a war over preserving self-image. So whenever somebody else is in shame, and for example, just now I said about narcissism, such people, they're actually in shame and you're going to pour more ghee over it. It is only going to, if you're going to totally be against and fight over it, it is not going to help. Instead, be compassionate and be understanding and be open for discussions so that you can attend to the real problem. By owning our shame, we have the ability to end our conflict with the other people and to be connected to them in a state of safety and love. So it's not always easy to own your own shame, but it is amazing when you own it. Just own it and see. So it will be amazing. How to overcome shame? First and foremost, we need to become fully aware of what our standards actually are. So these standards are something which we have acquired from your childhood, from the time we are born itself. It is we get this from our society, from our parents, from the people around us. Just becoming aware of the standards and social values we are holding ourselves to is enough to decrease the power they hold over us. If we want to change the standards, we need to change our beliefs. A social value or standard that you have adopted, like I have to please others or I have to always obey my parents. Okay, these are the few things which we all can work on. You need to question the rightness and wrongness of everything, even the things that seem obviously right or wrong, in order to reach full awareness and also in order to stop feeling like you're bad. So, a lot of communities, lot of even religious communities or our own houses have a lot of things which you can't accept. If you, even if you think logically, also we'll think what crap is this. Still, you kind of follow it blindly. Instead of following it blindly, question yourself. You can always question it, because you are the change in that place, you are the change in that society. You bring the change within yourself, it will help the society. So we always need to integrate the feeling of shame. If we feel shame in our adulthood, that is because we were pushed into feeling shame as children by the adults in our society. These are traumatic wounds to our emotional body. For this reason, when we feel shame, we need to sink down into it and be unconditionally present with it. Find the child in the memory where we are being shamed and then reparent that wounded inner child. A lot of you all already know how to do inner child healing. Okay, so you, those who know who can do that, Those who don't know, we can do it today over here. If we feel shame in our adulthood, that is okay. I think I repeated that slide. Okay. When we are making these changes within ourselves, we are helping this society to evolve. So, so anybody want to discuss over this? Because a lot of us don't even realize that this is the shame feeling that we have inside us. So that's why I wrote a lot of examples over there. So if you're all able to relate to anything within you, we can look into it right now in the meditation we are going to do and shift that. Anybody wants to talk about it?
Oh, yeah. Preeti ji, can you explain slide number 57?
Slide number 57. Okay, own your shame. Okay, whenever you feel
Yeah.
defensive in any situation or start hearing the inner voice tell a story about how someone else is doing something bad, ask yourself, okay, what do I feel ashamed of right here in this minute? Yeah. So whenever you are in situation where somebody came and told you something, and you are actually putting up the guard and saying very very defensively saying, no, it is not like that, you're not right there, you're kind of being very defensive over there. So whenever you're being defensive, immediately ask yourself inside, what am I feeling ashamed of right here in this minute? Because in that situation, you know um, in that situation, something about that what that person have discussed is making you feel bad or not good enough. That's the reason you're being very defensive over there. One minute, I am not able to see this. Okay. Yeah, who asked that? Naina, who asked that question? Hello,
Kartika.
Kartika.
Yeah.
Kartika, you
Yeah.
are. Okay, yeah. So whenever somebody is actually blaming you or somebody telling that this is not right, and whenever you bring that guard up and you're going to just be very defensive, immediately you have to ask this question to yourself: what is it that is making me being so defensive? If you are able to listen to it calmly, if you are able to respond to it very calmly, you're not being defensive. Okay, but if you are not able to do that and you're being like it's like a fight, you're like being very defensive, but it's not like that, it's not like this, you're just pushing in that whatever that person has said, it means it is hitting something inside you. Okay, we'll do this
Thank you.
process. So we'll do this process, you will get a more idea because something will open up, because we are going to intuitively go into it. Whatever shame you have experienced in your life, one of the shame will come up in this meditation. So you will understand what exactly you were feeling at that time, because normally we don't understand it is the shame that is hitting us. Because we have been programmed like that from childhood. It is not our parents fault, it is not the society's fault, it is not anybody's fault. It's just the way things are, and we think that the parents think that this is the right way or there is no other way to go about it. So they kind of impose those things on us thinking it is the right way, but it has damaged us, right? It has damaged us, and that's the reason everybody has so much of problems when they grow up. Everybody has. So we just have to understand, be more aware, so that at least the next generation, the next society that is coming up is actually evolving through you. When you change, instead of blaming the people behind you, you be the change, and so that what comes from you will be another change. It will help people around you also. So anybody has questions, or we'll go into the process? No questions, nothing to discuss. All good? All ready for the process? Some people have come only for the process. They didn't want to hear what I'm saying. Anyway, I'm glad you are here at least for the process. Okay. So allow yourself to switch off the fan. Is it okay? We have our star here, Jyoti. Yesterday I mentioned about Jyoti, right? Okay. Yeah. I'm going to mute you all. So you're going to sit in a very comfortable position where you're not going to fall asleep. You're going to be awake throughout because you're going to allow yourself to open up to whatever need to be released at this point of time. Okay? You all don't have resistance, right? So keep yourself in a comfortable position with your backbone straight. If you're lying down, it's fine. And what is that? Gently close your eyes. Allow yourself to be with your breath for a few moments until you're settling totally into your body. Allow yourself to take a deep breath in and relax. Take a deep breath in through your nostrils and breathe out through your mouth. And allow your body to be relaxed as you take one more deep breath in and let go of any tension, any resistance, allowing yourself to take another deep breath in. And as you're taking each breath, you're allowing your body to relax even more deeper, allowing your back to be relaxed, your shoulders to be relaxed, your stomach, your chest, your legs, your head. Centering yourself into your heart space, center of your chest. Allowing yourself to gently go down into Mother Earth space, grounding yourself, allowing the energy of Mother to flow through you, through your legs, all the way up, through all of your chakras, all the way up above your head, all the way up into the source light, connecting you to the source, all the way up into the source. Gently allow yourself to drift deeper and deeper into your heart space. Be with your breath as you're drifting deeper and deeper into your heart space. Allow yourself to drift into the past. And recover a shaming experience. Your mind will automatically locate this perfect memory for you. Take your time. If at all you're feeling blank and no memory is coming, allow the feeling of shame to be present. If you have located the memory or the feeling of shame, take a deep breath in and observe where do you feel it in your physical body. The feeling of shame, where do you feel it in your physical body? Notice the physical space that holds this shame. You may feel tightness, pain, or tension, or some discomfort in that area. Allow yourself to go there now. Keep breathing deeply, relaxing yourself. Move your awareness into this part. What do you notice? Explore further what that sensation feels like. Is there a color, a texture, or do you hear a sound or a shape? What do you sense? Take a moment and explore this part. If you want, you can also invite this part to come out of you and be in front of you. Let it come out of your body and be it in front of you. Whichever is comfortable, you can choose that. When it moves outside of you, does it form a shape or a human figure or a younger version of yourself? It could be your adolescent stage or your when you were a child, or maybe it is just a shape. If you don't see, what do you sense about this part? So let us get to know more of this part. So right now, remind yourself of who you are today. The adult self, your age, the state of your awareness. Just remind yourself. Now move your awareness to that part and introduce yourself. Tell that part you are that part's adult self and that you are here for it. Ask that part what it has to tell you. It is time to know how you got this shame. Whatever this part tells you, validate it. You can ask this part for forgiveness for not being there all this time. And assure that part that from today, I will be there for you. You can tell this part, what you heard and interpreted is not true. I know the truth. You're loved, you're lovable, you're accepted as you are, and you are a precious being. And I love you so much. I love you the way you are. I love your authenticity. And let all the false beliefs that has been formed there, let it be released from there. You can observe it being released, maybe in the form of color or a vibration. Let it be released from that space and assure your that part that it is not the truth, and the truth is that you're whole and complete by yourself, and that you are lovable and you're loved and accepted as you are. You can embrace yourself without the fear of what other people will think of you. You can let go of that fear. At this time, speak anything that you need to speak to that part, be it the child self or whatever you're observing in front of you. Whatever it needs to hear, just tell that from your heart. You can also ask what it needs from you. You'll always know the answer. As you're observing the changes in the vibration for that part, with all the truth of its being, you are sharing, you are tuning into it. Notice any changes. Has it transformed? Has the feeling of shame from there left you? Are you able to embrace yourself as you are? How does it feel? Is it still there? If it is still there, ask it what it needs to be done to make it to transform, and that you're there to help. Just letting that part know that you are there for it will itself create a healing there, and that you're able to embrace that younger self as it is. It self transforms. Let this part know you will be back soon to reconnect whenever you want. When you feel the energy has shifted, has transformed, allow yourself to take another deep breath in. Reconnect to the feeling of deep relaxation. Invite the divine energy that you're connected to, the source energy, to penetrate through your crown, maybe in the form of a white light, into the center of your being. See every cell in your body being illuminated in this beautiful light that is flowing through you. This is your true self. This divine energy of love is your true energy. Anchor into this light, anchor into this feeling of source energy, which is of unconditional love. And ground yourself in this energy, connecting to Mother Earth through your legs all the way down into Mother Earth. Anchor it as though you're rooting. Your roots are going down deep into Mother Earth space. Remembering that you are the light. Everything is an illusion. Everything else is an illusion. And whenever you feel doubt about yourself or shame, come back to this light. Come back to this feeling. And remember who you are. Remember that you are whole and complete. Everything that you need is within you. And you're always able to be centered in this knowing, in this awareness. Allow yourself to feel this light within your body, completely radiating to your whole of your being. As you're taking another deep breath in, see yourself expanding in this light. Let your aura also expand. Take another deep breath in and just observe, witness this light being expanded into the source. With this awareness, allow yourself to gently bring your awareness into your body, being grateful for every moment of your life, being grateful to every person in your life, being grateful for this moment. Just wiggle your hands and legs. Put your hands together. Rub together your hands. Let the energy from your hands be placed onto your eyes. Taking a deep breath in. Allow yourself to gently open your eyes. Some people are still integrating. Okay. Can I see everyone?
My camera has a problem.
Yeah,
Priya.
I
So
understand.
can't see me.
Okay. So, can anybody share if you were able to find your shame and transform it? Even if you are not able to do that, that also you can share. Nobody wants to share anything today. What happened? Got lost in the shame? Nobody wants to share? That's interesting. It's okay. You can share me. You don't have to share what shame it is. If you find it difficult sharing the shame, you can just share your experience. Is this Preeti? Hi, Preeti. Preeti Dibu. It's been a long time. I saw you. Nobody wants to share anything. Everybody is very quiet. That's nice. Okay.
Shall I say
One thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who's this?
carry on?
Okay, this is Surabhi. I have not switched on my video
Okay.
because I'm in a dark room. That helps me concentrate. So I
Yeah.
switch off the lights.
Uh-huh.
So basically, I'll not talk about the shame exactly, but I think, Priya, there were times when you said that, your self right now is talking to your younger self, and, that you were not there, but now you are there, and there is nothing to be ashamed of. I think like you went slightly fast, so I was not able to really stay with my shame for, I I wanted to stay a little bit more. So I mean,
Okay.
just a small feedback.
Okay, I went a little faster. Okay, it's okay. You can actually go back to it, go back to the meditation, and you can actually do that all over again.
Yes, I'll do that.
If you feel, you want to stay with it, you can switch the video or the audio into pause and you be there.
Yes.
Okay. But were you able to find your shame?
Yes, I was. Yes, it was not tough.
Okay. Was everybody able to at least find your shame? That?
Yes.
Yes.
There were so many
No.
instances in life.
So many incidents.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yes.
you can go back to it, taking each incident and recreate it, because you don't want to carry that all your life, right? Why you want to carry it? It actually reflects in every situation. The reason why I have put this in today's classes because I went through it. Just yesterday I went through it, so it came into today's class. Now I don't know what will happen tomorrow. So yesterday's class is what I went through day before yesterday.
Auntie, can like someone switch off the mic because the disturbance is coming?
Yeah. Okay. You can unmute whoever wants to talk. Okay. Okay.
Prichiji, I'll quickly share my experience.
Yeah.
Today, I woke up with a dream. It was exactly an event of shame, okay, from my friends. It was a very silly thing, but whatever they said, it hurt me. It was an unpleasant experience. So before this session, I was thinking like something unpleasant. I am feeling defensive, but this shame thing did not come to me at all. So this session was exactly answering my question. what was within me that was causing that unpleasant experience. And it is really affecting the relationship, right? They are my friends. So this shame is actually affecting that relationship with my friends. And during this process, there were so many events when I was working after my marriage. But when I was going back, these were coming, but I realized that these events are not the root cause, right? They are like mild. Then when I really went to my school days, I felt like an anchor. Oh, this is it. That strong emotional surge. So yeah, I could actually, like you said, we cannot blame like teachers or family or anyone, but some false belief that got into us caused this shame, how deep it is. So actually I took this incident, healed several times in many of my previous sessions with the Rupert Sir, Latika ma'am, and even with you, Preeti. But now I realize, see how deep these things got into our cells, like how many times we heal, still there is something remaining within us. And it was very emotional and it was very deep. And like the sentence you mentioned, these are not true, right? So you used one sentence there. These are not true. I am telling you, that helped. Hopefully, that one sentence tried to help. Tried to it helped me to release a little bit of that energy, and it was a beautiful experience. Thank you, Chichi.
Thank you. Actually, whenever we go into such incidents, what we are doing is we are peeling one layer. You go back again, the next layer will come.
Okay.
Layers of it, So I have like my students, theta students are also here. They say that why are we going back the same space again?
Same place again and again. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Thank you.
You don't realize that you accumulate so many things.
Yeah. Of course, you being a theta healer would have worked on many things, but there are still more. It's never enough. The more you keep on healing, it's never enough. You'll have to find more. It actually opens a different dimension in front of you, different understanding. Every time you're going into the same space, different understanding comes in. It's a new awareness that sets in. So you cannot say that, yeah, I have done this before also. Why is this always there? You're going to be irritated with that. It's not going to help because there is a reason why it is there. So you have to be grateful for that and then go there. Anybody else want to say? Somi is thinking, should I say? Should I not say?
Actually, Priya, this is not regarding today's thing. Like I had a dream yesterday. It was like I was in a car with driving. Somebody was driving the car. I was discussing about healing with them, and suddenly yesterday Sri Bala was sharing. Like when she went to that waterfall, the waterfall straightened up. So I was thinking, okay, this car was going and it was entering into a canal like thing. I was thinking, okay, anyway, this is something else. It did automatically straighten up. But what I saw was I was just falling down in the car. He was driving, somebody was driving. I was sitting in the front seat. Then seeing that car is going deep down into that canal. Suddenly the canal changed to a cliff. But I know that something will happen, but I started to enjoy each and every moment of that falling. I did not get scared. I don't know. By the time it reached down, I got up. I didn't understand anything. I told Leena Chichi because she's my dream interpreter to find out the meaning for me.
Dream interpreter, what did you say? Leena,
No, she didn't. She said,
Who's the dream interpreter here?
for me, she's actually we are cousins. She interprets everything for me. If I am in doubt, I'll call her and I'll say. Just before the class today also, I told her that I had a dream like that. I want you to interpret it for me.
So what did you interpret? Say that also.
I did not see anything. I did not check it. Maybe Chechi, I don't know. She didn't get the time to check.
No, nothing is coming from her. At least you're embracing the.
No. Yes, Priya, right after we discussed, no, right? And then we joined for this, so I couldn't get.
Okay.
But I felt that she now she is in a state that she is no more worried about the result,
Okay.
future or anything, and
Enjoying
what
the
she
journey.
is. Yeah.
She's enjoying the journey as such.
Yes. Yes.
Not about the destination. That's nice.
Yes. That's.
Yeah. We have a dream interpreter. Latika ma'am is actually trained in dream. No, Rupesh sir? Sir is not saying anything.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So there is actually a course on that, to interpret dreams, what the real meaning it is. It's interesting for those people who are interested. Okay. Anybody else want to share something? So everybody is ready to step into your authentic space from today. At least put an intention that we will be operating from our authentic space without hurting others. Like in the sense, that brutal hurting shouldn't be there. You can actually be very compassionate, even if you're authentic. Yeah. And you can own up your own shame. Will you all remember why we all keep all these classes? And it's all, even sir, everybody, we all keep it free also, because a lot of people will come into it and, you start shifting something inside you. It is a massive shift in the society. And when the society is expanding, all of our consciousness is expanding. So make use of it. Remind yourself every day in the morning, remind yourself these lessons, whatever you get little bit, just bring it into your lifestyle. And it will help your family also, right? Anybody else want to share some experience? Yanamai. Jane, you
No,
have
Priya.
something interesting. Yesterday you had something interesting. A lot of people wrote to me separately. They don't want to share in the class. But when you share in the class, it actually help others also, When you're telling me only, it is helping me. They're not going to judge you. You can just say it, If you are comfortable, you just say it. Or you can just write in the group also.
I'll say.
Okay, Jane, yeah.
So there was an incident back in school when all of my friends were very good singers. So I just got this feeling that, maybe I should also try. And one of the competitions or something, there was like a class-wise competition. I decided to take part. I sang. I can't sing, I know that, but I thought I'll just have fun, just try. But then I had a group of friends who started laughing at me, and they made fun of me while I was doing it. And that was immediately I felt that shame. And after that incident, I've never been able to sing or in front of a crowd or anything. So that's the incident that came to me. And then as an adult, I was trying to tell the kid that it doesn't matter, because now I know that any form of art, music, painting, dancing, anything is not really for the professionals or people who really are good at it or anything. It's for everyone. It's a way to just express yourself and enjoy. So don't be scared of expressing yourself. And I was just trying to console the kid. And then later on at the end part, all that was going on in my head is that song that Rupesh sir had taught us about "Listen to My Heart." That song kept playing again and again, so it was nice.
Okay, great. Wow. I think you can also see, I think you have lost your playfulness there. you know, that spontaneous way of enjoying life. Somewhere you must have left it over there. Bring it back, okay?
Yeah.
So anybody else want to share? Rekha? Yesterday
I
you
already shared, no.
not that Rekha, okay. Under
There's
Rekha.
another Rekha, okay.
Rekha Pai. I think Rekha Pramod is not here, right? Too many Rekhas are here. No, nothing.
Yeah, slightly. Uh, Actually, that shame was one from my childhood days. It was somewhere deep inside, and I realized that it was so strong today only. So, yeah, it was very nice to go through it through this meditation, and realizing the awareness was very aha moment for me today.
Manju, you want to say something?
No, ma'am. Actually, I couldn't experience, ma'am. I don't sleep.
Okay.
That's why I was giving that.
Today's working day for you. You are tired, going back to sleep.
Or is that any resistance in me? I'm going to sleep.
Nice to know that you're aware that it is in resistance. Okay.
Yes, Priya. About Devi.
Devi, okay. Huh?
Yeah. About the shame process, if I'm saying in the early stage, I couldn't find anything, but in the latest coming days scenario, what I am experiencing, the difficult part, some difficult part I am experiencing, and that is not intentionally from my end. It's happening. Then still I feel shame of something I cannot cope up with. Then you told this is not the reason for that. You go back, something like you told, no? Then I went back, and that time also I laid down in one point where I didn't got placed. I got job in the early days, some good positions, some permanent positions. That time I didn't accept, and I landed up in this country and that roller coasters. Then there again guilt part raised up.
Okay.
Yeah. Then I don't know. Then later it's not because the genuine reason. I don't know why I made like that. That decision part. Still, that guilt part is prominent there than the shame. That is hurting me nowadays, and then recently in the coming days I developed to raise up me and trusting that this journey is destiny. It is not in my hand, no. I have to trust. It is in my hand. The decisions. No, not in that way. I'm responsible for my things, but some power, supernatural power is there to lead me, and that is acting according to my will and my manifestation or my decisions, my plans, nature. So now I'm trying to change myself. So that shift is happening within me.
But here, you know, I think you literally write down what are the standards you have given yourself to experience this shame. You are actually keeping this the shame so that you know you are living up to the standards of the society or the house, so whoever has given you that. It's only when we find that it is easier to open up that. Every one of you can see that, you know, what are the standards you're holding on to, which can be, you know, changed. sometimes it is a family thing, or sometimes it's a religious thing, or whatever it is. It's a social standard which we are living up to, which is not helping us. So let it go.
Yeah.
And you be the change in the society.
Okay.
But you should be willing to look at the standards, and most of the people, when we say about the standards, no, I can't change this. It will not go well with my parents. It will not go well with my family. It will not go well with the society. But unless you change, how is the society next generation going to change, right?
Yes.
So write it down so you will get it.
Yeah. From the root to the stage right now. That is what you mean, right?
Yeah. So through that, of course, you would have learned many things. Plus, why are you actually following that? If it is not helping you, just let go of that. You don't have to, always holding on to that. Like, for example, you don't actually say that you are in a difficult space to your own family. Why? You have to look into that.
Okay.
Okay, there you will get many things.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Deep Chechi, you want to say something? Kartika, Raji, Harida, Jaya. I'm taking everybody's name. Ajit Bhai. Juno. Nothing to share? I think I half the people can't see.
It's the same thing as yesterday.
Same continuation.
Yeah, like in for different memory.
Okay. Anyway, you will get enough and more. I know that. To work on. So shall we wind up today? One more day is left. Pray that something nice will come for tomorrow.
Chachi, I have a question.
Yeah.
So okay, I have a list of expectations that I have set, which is of very high standard, and that's all from the society that you are living or you're exposed to, and it's not helping me anymore. Then intentionally, how do I get rid of that and change that?
Right. Write down your soul's journey. Write down what your soul is passionate about. Where do you want to reach? It's not to prove anything to anybody. It is not to please anybody. It is not to get appreciation from others. It's for you. You will get it. Only when you go into your heart space and ask, you will get it. Erase all the other one.
Okay, you focus on what you want, right? Like what your soul wants. Okay. Thank you.
So we'll wind up. See you all tomorrow, same time.
Thank you, Priya. Thank you so much.
Big hug to all of you.
Auntie, when are we playing the game?
Okay, we'll play the game now.
Yeah.
Because I hope nobody is left. Okay, I'll play the game. The game, because we have time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What game is it?
Game.
Auntie told us last month.